Welcome to the foundation. Welcome to the foundation.com. I am Sot L, seeker of truth L, speaker of truth L. And it is my absolute pleasure. And why do you ask? Because look, I am going to teach you 3 secrets the elite do not want you to know. We all know the rich get richer, but how? Stick around and find out. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you again today on another episode of The Foundation, where we understand incorrect information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. Correct information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. So as always, we are looking to correctly apply that correct information here at The Foundation. I want to start off by saying, as I usually do, all thanks, praises, honors due to the creator of the boundless universe. I want to say big up and shout out, as I always do, my spiritual big brother. I call him the uncle of the conscious community. You can call him what you want. Yusuf L, High Frequency Radio Network creator. SPC University doing the dance. Shout out to the brother. Welcome to the foundation.com. Make sure you sign up for that email list. You can get your hands on these exclusive offers, events, particular dances. You understand what I'm saying? All at the same spot. Welcome to the foundation.com. You can check out our education section. Look, we got the about section. You can make a donation if you like what we're doing. You don't have to, though. Here's our Instagram and Twitter and dance right there. You can find that. It'll bring you right to it. This is a brief, I would say, dance on what we do. You can book a consultation if it's up to you. If it's up to me, you do it. Here's our education section. We got the Foundation Trust primer. If you're just starting off, this is what I would tell you to, rock with. This right here. What's going on right here? Let's do this. There we go. It's over 18 documents handpicked by me. People who are just getting started. This is where I say you start. Then we got the Foundation Trust series right here. Part 1. We have part 2. We have part 3 down here. That's where I would say to start. If you're interested, obtaining a passport with no social, shout out to Chris L, who shared his process with us. He said part 1 is how you get it. Part 2 is how you use it. So, there's that. Also, welcome to thefoundation.com. You can find our YouTube. We got the free documents. Grab them and go. You can click on all documents. I saw people charging for these joints, so we just gave them away. You can contact us. I think the easiest way to contact me, admin at welcome to thefoundation.com. I want to say peace to all the listeners. Everyone checking out the show, however you checking out the show, archive, MP3, internet, podcast, whatever. I also want to say peace to all the trustees here in private trustee training, and maybe you'll understand why after this episode. And peace to everyone that we've come into contact with. Peace to all the new subscribers on YouTube. Peace to you. I trust you're having a luxurious day. It's fantabulous. I don't know, man. I just tried to, I tried too hard right there. We have the Foundation Trustee Training. Gotta make sure y'all check that out. But listen, what I want to get to in this show, and off the top, I'm pulling from 3 different documents. 2 I can send to you. You can email me, admin at welcome to thefoundation.com. I can send them to you. 1 I can't. But I assure you, you will walk away from this video, from this episode, with a new perspective. And, I just want to be really quick. So with that being said, can we just jump right into this? This right here, Secrets of the Irrevocable Peer Business Trust. Now, I like this document because it gets into the nitty gritty, right? So pulling from this, and I'm not going to read this entire thing. Like I said, you can email me admin@welcometothefoundation.com, and I'll shoot you this document. I'll shoot it to you if you don't have it. You can do a search for it. You'll probably find it. But, this is the dance right here. Secrets. So this is what I'm going to talk about right now, right? So in this, we talked about trust, right? Two different categories of trusts, because, there are hundreds of different kinds of trusts. I say there's over 80 different types of trust. That's what my mentor taught me. That's what I experienced and researched to be true. But, there's a lot. And when people get into trust, and they, most people are like, I got to go talk to my attorney, right? And I understand that. I respect it. There's nothing against that. Attorneys, lawyers, they're very, very adept at what they do if, they're doing their dance. Not everyone's doing their dance. And I know that what I do a lot of times is pancaking toes, and it's actually not smiled upon. How about I'm gonna say that? It's not smiled upon by attorneys. I've had attorneys tell me that, I remember I said attorneys don't like me. And, that particular attorney said, yeah, because you know more than we do. And, I took it as a compliment. There was irritation on their face. Moving forward, though, specifically 2 categories of trust, right? Basically, and here, excuse me, I'll read this. It is helpful to divide trusts into 2 broad categories. The first being those trusts created by privilege, and the second, those which arise as a matter of right. Those trusts which are created by privilege are by far the most common. So we're dealing with what's common and what's not. So before I move forward, I want you to understand what I'm saying, what's common and what's not. I'm not calling anyone commoner, because if that's the case, I'm calling myself a commoner. You know what I mean? It's nothing pejorative. It's nothing, talking down. It's just stuff we don't know, what is not common. So the first secret I'm going to share with you is that the elite, the wealthy, they utilize private trusts. I'm gonna tell you that off the top. That's number one. They utilize private trusts. And this is something that is not common. A brief discussion on both types will serve to illustrate the essential differences between the two. And I could, just basically break it down, but I'm going to continue. But I'll break it down. You have trusts that owe their existence to legislation, state legislations, maybe statutory legislation, administrative legislation. As far as I'm concerned, these are all synonymous. And then you have those that owe their existence to what we would call the common law right to contract, unlimited. And there are specific protections afforded to a private trust, which is contract, and a public or statutory trust, which is an agreement, essentially. That's how I can distinguish the two. You have a trust contract, and a lot of times in the public it's a trust agreement. Look it up. And then the most common public trust, or the most common trust, if we're staying on topic of or in line of how we're moving right now, the dance is being danced, is what is known as a statutory trust. So real quick, excuse me, trusts which are defined in precise terms and which are bound by procedural structure fall into the category of trusts which arise by privilege. I don't like privileges. Just tell you no. Just spoiler. Privileges, no. Not with these types of structures. And the elite know this. Please understand, the elite know this. The wealthy know this. In those cases, some deciding authority or agency, whether the IRS, the American Law Institute's Committee on Trust, or some other body or agency, has seen fit to describe and limit a particular kind of trust. So you have charitable trusts, family trusts, grantor trusts, and so on are described and limited by the form given them by some committee or agency, which in turn has based its findings upon judiciary conclusions as provided in case law. In the the restatement, I said testament. Hey, it might as well be in the public. The restatement of the law on trusts. Quote, the sections of the restatement express the result of a careful analysis of the subject and a thorough examination and discussion of pertinent cases. The accuracy of the statements of law made rests on the authority of the institute. They may be regarded as the product of expert opinion and as the expression of the law by the legal profession. In other words, the form of trust is normally dependent upon the prior case law, and the authority for that, quote, law, end quote, is based upon opinion. A privilege is that which is granted by the good pleasure of the author of that privilege. Privileges can be withdrawn, revised, or modified by the grantor of the privileges. In the case that we're talking about, in the case that I'm speaking on, the grantor of the privilege of the organization of a public trust would be the state. And how is that so? And, attorneys, lawyers, if y'all listening, y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't play with people. But, an attorney is under the state. An attorney has a state bar card. And the attorney, therefore, what they know is state statutory law and state statutory, structures pertaining to that state statutory law. So when they craft the trust agreement, not only do they imbue the agreement with statutory language, but they invoke that state statutory jurisdiction within the actual agreement itself, which makes it the law, basically. Case law can be quite flexible for every case which points in one direction. There's always seems to be another. Look, contractual right here. The other broad category of trust is that created by contractual right. Privileges can be withdrawn, revised, or modified by their giver. But a right is that which is incapable of revision or modification and cannot be statutorily abridged. In Restatement of the Law of Trust, which was quoted earlier, quote, a statement of the rules of law relating to the employment of a trust as a device for carrying on a business is not within the scope of the restatement of the subject. Although many of the rules applicable to trust are applied to business trust, yet many of the rules are not applied, and there are other rules which are applicable only to business trust. The business trust is a special kind of business association and can best be dealt with in connection with other business associations. The American Law Institute's classic multi-volume study of trust fails even to discuss the irrevocable trust. Why? They don't discuss it because it really isn't a trust, and rules for trust don't apply to it. In reality, and I would say this is secret number 1A. So secret number 1 is they utilize private trust. Secret number 1A is it's not really a trust, it's a contract in the form of a trust. In the form of a trust. Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, I'm right here. Oops, right here. No state shall pass any law impairing the obligation to contract. That's in part. That section of the Constitution provides in a nutshell the sum, strength, and structure of the irrevocable trust. And they say irrevocable pure business trust. There's a lot of different ways that this thing is referred to as. Any other position serves only to weaken the essential nature of the trust. Indeed, the courts have ruled that a pure trust is not so much a trust as a contractual relationship in trust form. This is Berry versus McCourt. The right to contract is protected, as we have pointed out, by the Constitution. Quote, a pure trust is established by contract, and any law or procedure in its operation denying or obstructing contract rights impairs contract obligation and is therefore violative of the United States Constitution. And again, quote, the right to create the business trust is based on the common law right to contract by individuals establishing it, end quote. It is very important to construct the trust such that every officer or party of interest has a contractual relationship. Otherwise, the protection of the contract is lost. The protection of the contract is lost. So we have the utilization of private trust, and really it's the utilization of contract in the form of a trust. And I'm going to tell you, while I pancake toes, because people charge money for this stuff. Listen, people charge money for this stuff. And I'm going to tell you, the contract only comes under trust law on how the income is dispersed and how the income is taxed. But in every other situation, it is a contract. Hands down. So the utilization of private trust. I'm going to say number 2 is they remain private. Let's pull from the second document that I got right here. Now this one, I'm going to go through the advantages of a trust, right? And this is a document. What is this called? Business Trust Manual. So as I said, just email me. I'll send you this stuff, for the free, not for the fee. So, trust advantages. A trust has many advantages. A trust can reduce taxes or save a person money in other areas by avoiding probate and reducing or eliminating personal liability exposure. What? Avoiding probate? A lot of people call that the death tax, probate. The following list suggests some of the things a trust can do. And look, I'm not giving legal advice. I'm reading from this. I can't give legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I have no bar card. I can't. It's not within, that's a jurisdiction that I have no claim to, stand in. Protect financial resources. I'm just going to kind of quick. Handle daily details and routine. Avoid settlement delays. That's beautiful. That's luxurious. Reduce probate costs. It costs a lot of money to go through probate. The major cost is attorney and legal fees. There are attorney fees on all estates, big and small. I think it's around 5%, 3%, 3-5%, and that's just, I think that's just for, the personal representative. Other costs of probate are the filing fees paid to the courts and the quote forced sale end quote of property to pay these fees. So if there's, they're trying to leave property to you, but there's fees, there's 30,000 and the property's 150 and you're like, I don't have any money. They're going to sell the property and they're going to take their 30 and they're going to give you 120. And if you don't put that, honestly, and I can't get legal advice, but from what I understand, if you don't put that back into actual real estate within a certain amount of time, then you got to pay taxes on that too. It's a dance, man. Income taxes. When this is necessary, the property usually cannot be sold for its fair market value. What about any cost defending the trust in court suit situation? Often when a person dies, an heir may say the last will and testament was fraudulent, so on and so forth. If the fight is prolonged, the only ones to profit are the attorneys. Appraisers and guardian fees also deplete the estate. While trusts have administration costs, they can be minimized by selecting people who will work for nothing or for a low fee. Close friends and, of course, family members oftentimes serve as successor trustees and do not request any administration fees. Why would you? You're administering a structure, a private structure of your own family. It doesn't belong to the state, doesn't belong to the United States or any other country. It's owned and governed by private contract administered by your family. 5, the reduction of taxes. One of the most useful advantages of a trust is the reduction, or in some instances, complete elimination of income or estate taxes. Listen, look, I'm not giving legal advice. Every estate and every trust is administered differently. I'm going to say it 3 times. Every estate and every trust is administered differently. Every estate and every trust is administered differently. Therefore, there will be different applications of particular law and or not, depending on the specific administration. I can't give legal advice though, but I know that for a fact. When a trust is properly constructed, it provides, quote, income splitting advantages. Passive portfolio income earned by the trust is separated from the money that is earned by the person. For example, a taxpayer earned $30,000 from their job and another $25,000 from passive income, making them pay taxes on $55,000. When they put the passive income into a trust, the trust could pay taxes on the $25,000 and the taxpayer would move into a lower tax bracket. Dropping from the higher tax bracket to the lower tax bracket offers a tremendous advantage. And listen, I can't give legal advice, right? And a lot of people wouldn't even say this, right? I feel like a lot of people can't even explain this, but I'm gonna explain this, right? You have to do it from a legal. You have to have clean hands, and you have to do it from a legal and lawful perspective. You have to understand what I'm talking about when I say that. And this is not the time to get into that. But listen, trust is a person. A trust is a legal person. Look this up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm crazy. I already said it. And if you say, oh, he said it at the same time, he's saying he's crazy. I said I'm crazy. That being said, a trust is a person, and it can do what a person can do. It can do what an individual can do. A corporation is a person, a legal person. It's a legal fiction. Look it up. Black's Law Dictionary, Bouvier's Law Dictionary. It's called legalese. A trust is a person. And a person can own property. A person can have a bank account. A person can have a brokerage account. And in this instance, a portfolio income, I'm going to, assume, but I'm crazy, so don't listen to me. I'm going to assume that this portfolio income is in a brokerage account, right? So if the owner of the brokerage account is a trust and not the individual, this is what they're talking about right here. Now, how you make the trust the owner of the brokerage account, how that happens, that's something we can't get into in the public. I'm just going to tell you the truth. You got to get into trustee training or something. But that's what they're talking about. Don't get out here and do all this, this dance and think people go to prison for this stuff. The use of a business trust can eliminate self-employment tax provided the worker receives income as a W-2 wage earner. Trusts in general are allowed to donate up to 100% of their income to bona fide charities, which is another way to lower tax benefits. So these are different and complete sentences. So in this case, I'm going to break this down too. So let's say, you work a job, and a lot of people do this. They work a job, they get a 1099. They don't get a W-2. They get a 1099. This is number one. So like a lot of Lyft drivers, Uber drivers, these people, a lot of people, they get a 1099. And what they do is they take that 1099 and they, file income tax with it. But a 1099 can be issued to an individual, a legal person, a trust, an LLC, corporation. So if one, and I'm not giving legal advice, if one is to form a structure and then have the company issue the payment to, that structure, recontract that position. Now, a lot of times, some employees, W-2 employees can't do this, and that's just one of the things. Like, there's things to go on with, that go along with employee versus contractor. And, these are things to study. But a lot of people, barbers, but I'm crazy. Don't listen to me. Protects privacy. And that's number two. Number two, they remain private. A trust does not have to be registered as opposed to a corporation, except in Nevada. So, blah, blah, blah. And this is the Nevada revised statutes. And this is just talking about business trust. We could talk about, there's hundreds of different types of trust. I know for a fact through my studies, there's over 80 different types of trust. So, keep that in mind when there's, the author of this paper keeps saying business trust. A corporation must file a report every year. It's an 1120, revealing the officers of the corporation and paying renewal fees. The business trust does not. The business trust must file a tax return each year, but it has considerably more privacy than other forms of business organization. The trust instrument does not have to be filed in a public place. It does not have to be filed with the state, with the Secretary of State, and corporations do. While the trust can accomplish the desires of the creators or the grantor without making it public. The most prudent people in the country have trusts which serve this purpose, and you might want this same type of privacy for your affairs. assures safer and immediate distribution, provides flexibility. What else we got here? A couple more. Opportunities for charitable giving. And, this is going to bring us to the third secret and final secret as I wrap this up. Opportunities for charitable giving. A trust. I'm going to be specific. A complex trust. The IRS recognizes 3 different types of trust: grantor, simple, and complex. A complex trust can donate up to 100% of its adjusted gross income to a charity. An individual can donate a maximum of 30%. I'm going to tell you straight up, this is wrong. 50%, that's for a public charity. 30% to a private charity. Well, that's right. It does say to a public charity. But it's wrong because it doesn't include 30% for the private charity. Corporations can donate up to 10% of its AGI. Avoiding additional payments of taxes. But let's get back into this. So what is a private charity? Most people know, public charities, the Red Cross, things of that nature. But the third and final secret I'm going to share with you today is the wealthy utilize private family foundations. A trust can donate 100%. 100%. And, when I say it, maybe you get it. This is fidelity. What is a private family foundation? A private family foundation is a type of private foundation set up by a family, funded with the family's assets and often run by family members who can also participate in its charitable grant making. It can last as long as the family needs it to serve its philanthropic ambitions, and it can adapt as the family's composition and charitable focus change. Y'all please pay attention to what I'm saying. How does a private family foundation work? There are no legal requirements specific to private family foundations. They are simply a type of private foundation governed and funded by family members and must meet all the same IRS guidelines for private foundations. You can find this. You can, just type it in. What is it? A private family foundation is one way to create a framework for giving that can enable you to establish a philanthropic legacy. It can also provide income tax and estate tax benefits. Though other types of charitable giving vehicles, such as a donor-advised funds, may provide more. It can also provide income tax and estate tax benefits. So now here, this is from a document called Family Foundations in the Law. So this is the one that I can't share with you. Don't ask me why. Try to infer why. But it's written by the Council on Foundations, of which Bill Gates, I believe, is still a member. He's still on the board of trustees. Think Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Think the Rockefeller Foundation, the Carnegie Foundation, the Clinton Foundation, the Carnegie Foundation. Did I say that already? Because that one's important. But not only do these foundations directly influence the educational and social services of the nation, and that's for another show, but they provide extensive tax benefits that I can't get into. But what I will get into is that these things are used and they are private. They're established through contract. They are tax exempt. And there are specific rules with regards to administering them in order to maintain the tax exempt status. It's something people don't know about. Why form a family foundation? There are many reasons why an individual or couple or a family might decide to establish a family foundation. In most cases, the motivations arise from one or more of the combination of the following reasons. They maintain family unity. Y'all see this? They promote and pass on to children and future generations a family tradition of commitment to philanthropic efforts. They maintain family unity. They provide a fitting and lasting memorial to family members. They establish an organized and systematic vehicle for charitable giving that avoids last-minute, ad hoc, and unfocused charitable check writing. To reduce current income tax obligations while removing assets from one's estate and thus also reducing future estate tax liabilities. This is the Council on Foundations saying this. I'm just going to say, what if they donate their house to their own family foundation? What if they donate their house to their own family foundation? Huh? Man, there's so many things I can't say to y'all. But, see, look here, private foundation, public versus private effects on a living donor, 30%. Gifts of cash, 30%. Gifts of appreciated property, 20%. When making gifts of appreciated property, the donor may take advantage of the higher 50% limit if he or she is willing to deduct only costs. Gifts of tangible property, such as art, must be deducted as cost if the use of the property by the donee is unrelated to exempt purpose. %. They effectively reduce their taxable income by 30%. And there's also extreme benefits. There's family retreats, an entire family retreat, an annual retreat. And over time, they donate their assets to the foundation. And legally, the foundation can have they can listen. Oh my God, they can have a charity auction, a public charity auction, and send out invites and stuff. And people show up, and they can auction off, their assets. And oh man, I trust y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. Those are the 3 wealth secrets the elite don't want you to know. They don't want you to look into that. The wealthy in this country, in this world, they do not want you to research what I'm saying. They don't want you to listen to this. They want you to put it away. They want you to turn it off. They don't want you sharing this. They don't want you implementing this the most is the biggest thing, because it levels the playing field. But once again, they utilize private trust. They remain private, and they utilize private family foundations. I suggest you get into our trustee training. This is our, I don't know what to call it. It's a demo foundation trustee training silver tier, the most affordable trustee training we've ever offered here at the foundation. Learn how to administer private structures. Learn how to protect them. Learn how to stand on the law. It's not rocket science. It's just stuff that we weren't taught, and it's not difficult. It just takes time to learn and properly implement. But the benefits are innumerable. They don't want you to know this. They do not want you to know this. They don't want you in the trustee training either. If you want to start a business, how to start a business, link in the description. $20. It's a course. And we have the Foundation magazine. Right now we're dealing with cybersecurity. Out now. Link in the description. We have a digital. We have print edition. We appreciate you checking us out. I appreciate you checking the show out, y'all. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned something that's very, 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 very powerful in your life, and that you make moves. If you'd like to learn more about trustee training, if you want an invite to the private side of Welcome to the Foundation, if you have any questions, email me at welcometothefoundation.com. Make sure you check out the current events that we're doing 5 days a week. I hope you're enjoying that. And we're just going to keep building, keep teaching, reestablishing the foundation of education. and business here in America. I trust y'all have a great week. Y'all enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. It's very important. And believe in yourself. You got this. I know you got this. And we got you. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Y'all have a great one. My name is Sot L, Seeker of Truth L, Speaker of Truth L, and it has been an absolute pleasure. Peace, y'all.